Okay, so I'm on a journey to play the best or worst Star Wars games without having seen the movies. And today, I'm playing one of the most popular choice for the best Star Wars game, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy. Am I able to understand the references? We have to jump in the garbage vent? Is this a classic Star Wars trope? I have a feeling it happened a few times. Will the story surprise me? Oh no, he turns to the dark side? What an unpredictable plot twist, I could have never seen that coming. Am I even going to finish the game? He just pulled me through the window. I don't even know how I survived that. Join me on this journey to find out. What do I want to talk about first? Oh yeah, how about the fact that unlike the previous game, you don't even play as Kyle Katarn in this one. Which I was fine with, you know. For all I knew, Kyle was busy on his honeymoon with Jan. Instead, the game allows you to create your own character, and that is really interesting as you can choose between quite a few alien races. Like this one, Keldor. I have never seen this alien before, this is new to me. Definitely one of the most interesting designs I've seen so far. Anyway, so I go with this guy and... Wait, you thought I'd go for Keldor? I mean, come on, look at the guy. Look him in the eye and tell him you actually believe he can be anything but a Sith. That's right, you can't, because you can't even see his eyes. He's probably a Sith anywhere he shows up, he looks evil. This is no Sith Academy, this is Jedi Academy, and Kyle is here to teach us what it means to be a Jedi. Although, a game where you get to go to a Sith Academy would be quite interesting. A full game, not just a level, okay, Knights of the Old Republic? Maybe there is one, but I'm not aware. Let me know in the comments. And whilst we're talking about comments, I'm also quite curious to ask you guys what you would like to see me play next. After finishing this, I believe I would be done with the games most people have suggested, so I'm not quite sure what to play next. Back to this game though, Kyle gets to have not one but two Padawans due to labor shortage caused by the previous game, which means me and another student get the most sarcastic teacher we could have asked for. Master Kyle, am I a good Padawan?
First off, just call me Kyle. Secondly, I hate you.
One part that confused me here is how they say that the Force powers are not naturally evil, so Sith powers are not evil? And Jedi powers are not evil? How does that even work for some of them? It's literally in the name. Force choke. The lightning is red, do you hear how the enemies scream when you do it? This made me come up with a theory of how the Force powers work. So, based on this, is it safe to assume there are two different forces people can draw from, not just one? And it just so happens that drawing from the, how would I call it, red force, makes you more likely to be part of the dark side? Maybe the force itself influences you as you draw from it? What am I even saying right now? Anyway, Kyle of course asks us to start by completing a training course, which I do, but not before my dear colleague almost kills me by releasing advanced droids capable of hurting me. I'm sure he did it by accident and it doesn't mean anything. He's just silly like that sometimes. I don't remember his name, so he shall henceforth be named Silly Billy. More importantly, I forgot to mention that earlier when we first landed on the planet we encountered some suspicious people using a suspicious scepter to shoot up a suspicious laser towards the Suspicious Academy? Now that is a bit suspicious. And whilst me and Silly Billy were playing pretend, Luke Skywalker actually did something useful and investigated the mark on the clothes of these people and found out that it's a symbol of Mark Aragnos, a Sith Lord that died more than 5,000 years prior to the events of the game. You know, sometimes I forget how many years of history this universe has. To add to that, apparently he also found out that... Nothing? Was that it? Luke, please, I praise you. I guess we have some more time to kill until he finds out more details, which brings us to the way this game works. Another thing that changed from the previous game is how the story progresses. Instead of a linear story, you get to choose which planets you explore in the form of different missions, and I don't really know how I feel about this. On one hand, it's amazing how many different planets you can go to in this game. I don't think I've played any other Star Wars game so far that allowed me to visit so many planets. But on the other hand, the stories of these missions are really lacking. There's not much happening in them, even for a self-contained story. Oh, go to this planet and disarm the bombs. Go to this planet and check out the cult activity. The only way the story progresses is when you complete 3 of these missions, you get to find out more details from Luke or Kyle about the suspicious people and get to the next, I guess, chapter? So I'm quite torn about the way it's presented. Which is weird because the writing in this game feels so much better than the previous one. Not necessarily the story itself as much as how the dialogue is written. Alas, we get to the first mission as I said, disarm some weapons and head to the next mission and... Wait... Does anyone else hear that sound? It sounds like... Yes, the next mission happens on a moving train. You know what? Screw the story, I don't even care what I said earlier, this is awesome. And not just this level, in general, the level design is so much better than the previous game. Is it more linear? Yes. Do I spend 30 minutes trying to figure out where to go like I did in the previous game? Absolutely not. Like sure, I'm not doing anything of relevance. In fact, I have no idea why I am on this train. I think I just have to get to the front carriage or something. But it doesn't matter. 1 minute you are on a moving train, the next minute you meet with our best and furriest friend, Chewbacca, which... I still have no idea how they make that sound. Will someone please tell me? And I mean that almost literally the next minute. These levels are not long at all. I think some of them just took 10 minutes to complete. Like this one. You shoot some enemies alongside Chewbacca and by the time you realize what you are meant to do, you crash land on a planet where Shai Hulud wants you dead. The classic floor is lava level. But the thing is, I think the levels take far less for one simple reason. This game does not have annoying puzzles. It's all action, baby. It respects me in ways the first one did not. How dare you make me use my brain, Jedi Outcast? I'm here to pew pew and whoosh whoosh, not to use my brain. See, I told you I'm not here to use my brain. Just so that I don't forget, this game is not Dune. This game is Star Wars TM, Jedi Knight TM, Jedi Academy TM. So we're not going on Arrakis once we escape this planet. We are going on Tatooine TM. No, remember these are not Fremen, these are... Actually, how are they called? I bet they are called desert people. Which would make these guys snowy people, no? Or snow stormtroopers? Snow troopers. No stormtroopers? I'm losing the plot here, let me try to find it. Ah yes, we had to go to this hot planet. Sorry, we had to go to this hot planet because Luke set his computer password to Luke123 and someone managed to hack him somehow? And that is bad because he wrote down his favorite holiday places. At least that's my headcanon. His reasoning was that he wrote down the places he felt a strong connection to the Force. Oh yeah, Luke, I also feel a strong connection to the Force in... Japan. Luke seems to think that the scepter the cult was using drained the Force out of the... planet, I guess? And so he's afraid the cult will try to drain the Force out of the planets that have a strong connection to the Force. Now, can I just say how amazing the Hoth levels were? Not only you get to ride these aliens around, you get to also use your lightsaber as you do it. How am I still a Padawan? I'm literally a Jedi Knight. I have my trusty Jedi steed with me. Also, can we just appreciate how nice of a detail is that the clothes of the character changed to reflect the cold environment? And... what did I just do? I pressed the murder button instead of the jump on it button. Well, I guess I'm demoted back to Padawan now. Goodbye, trusty steed. You will be missed. Some of you guys might remember my secret Jedi technique from the first game. If not, well, go watch that after this. But my secret technique, the Jedi lightsaber tickle, does not even seem to be working in this game. Ask this guy, he's been nice enough to allow me to test it. The realization of this got me so mad I had to take down this underground base. That also included the boss around here whom I caught talking to her boss as she herself is a Sith Padawan. Now, I would love to tell you the important details she was sending to her master, but I could not concentrate on anything but the attention to the details. Just look at her breath when she was talking, how cool is that? Anyway, we danced a bit and she escaped, so it's time to go back to Luke and relay the information we found. Any minute now. Are they having a telepathic conversation? What is happening? Guys, include me in the conversation, I want to know what is happening. Now CP something is telling me that Luke and Kyle just left somewhere and left some missions for me to finish? Fine, I didn't even want to go with you anyway. In fact, I wanted to go to... Narkrita. Yeah, this is much better. I bet where they went did not even have a massive Rancor.
The Rancor!
Oh, my bad. Rancor. I spent a few minutes shooting literally all I had of this Rancor, wondering if he can even die. After a while, I was even thinking it's a bit too easy, you just have to run away and shoot. And that is true. You do have to run away and shoot. I just forgot the runaway part. And so I spent a few more minutes shooting at it, and it actually went down. So I was free to rescue the prisoners on this planet and... Wait, where did this one come from? Was I not supposed to shoot the first one down? Even he is confused as he's just standing there. You know what, guys, can you please just go around him? There's 2 other paths we can take. Guys, do you see what's in front of you? Seriously, do you expect me to take that down again? I don't even have any more bullets, just go around him, please. I guess they won't. Fine, I'll have to keep him busy. One last set of prisoners to free. And in here, I got a bit cocky. I had the high ground and all. I thought, hey, if I don't have any bullets, I can just use my lightsaber. And you know what the bastard did? Well, of course you did, you saw it at the start of the video. He just pulled me through the window. I don't even know how I survived that. But I did, so now it's time to run. Run, guys, he's right behind us. Time for the next planet, and this one is one of my favorites. It's called Planet of 1000 Subscribers. Only 0.9% of the people that are watching this are subscribed, so with your help we may be able to reach 1.1%. But no, really, the actual next planet was quite interesting because you had to ride this thing all the way to the end. And whilst it did look cool, there's not much to say about it, so let's move on because I have a question. The next planet had these stormtroopers that had some jetpacks and were flying around. I'm 100% sure they were not Mandalorians because they did not have the Mandalorian mask, but I have never seen them before. So I have to ask you guys, are these canon to the Star Wars universe? Do they appear somewhere else? Do they have an official name if so? And if not, let's give them one. We shall name them... Well, I'll let you decide in the comments. What shall we name them? As for me, after I destroyed this place, Luke sent me a message saying that he discovered the cult of Ragnos, went to Dagobah and they siphoned the dark energy from the cave there. The specific way he phrased it is that they siphoned dark force energy. But Luke, earlier you said that the force is not inherently good or evil. What does this mean if the force is dark? I mean, sure, there are 2 forces, dark and light. But why are they called dark and light if they are not inherently good or evil? Anyway, we land on this prison planet, get imprisoned by a corrupt prison warden, chase him down and get rid of him and leave. Again, it may feel like I'm skipping a lot of content here, but there wasn't too much that happened that was worth showing. Playing through it felt great, but a lot of these levels are just 10-15 minutes of this, basically, which is not too bad. I'm not complaining, but it's not really worth showing. So let me tell you something that is interesting. Luke made a meeting to tell everyone that we were utterly useless as the cult managed to siphon the force from every planet he had in his notes. Now sure, he did try to sugarcoat this, but that's basically what he said. He also dropped a bombshell information saying that Silly Billy got captured by the cult. First things first, no, Silly Billy, you were captured against your will, that's such a tragedy. But then also, at the time of playing I was like, what? Who are they referring to? He just said, we lost a student. I do not remember any cutscene showing anything related to that. Did I miss it? Well, I went back through the footage and I did not in fact miss the cutscene. Because there was no cutscene.
I'm not sure if Luke's discovered anything on Dagobah, but I found out that Rosh has been captured.
It was just a voice transmission in between the level telling me it happened. Well, okay then. At least I get to be accompanied by Kyle and... Come to think of it, where is Jan? I haven't seen her this game. Where was I? Ah yes, on this planet it rains acid, which is only the 3rd most annoying part of this level. The first one being hearing the character constantly get hurt. If only Jedis could use a, I don't know, Jedi shield to protect ourselves. Oh wait, they do. What a coincidence. Well, color me surprised, or green. This planet did not represent too much of an issue, especially because Kyle here wanted to fight everything as he kept saying, this one's mine.
This one's mine.
You know what, Kyle? You have him.
You're joking, right?
I'll just cover your back. Oh, he died already? That guy was trash. Let's just take him to the garbage waste.
Oh, of course it has to be a garbage pit, doesn't it? Well, let's go.
Wait, Kyle, we just have to take him there. We don't have to actually jump in it too. We have to jump in the garbage vent? Is this a classic Star Wars trope? I have a feeling it happened a few times. My Star Wars trope bingo also had losing an arm though, so I'm not quite there yet. Where do we end up by going there? We end up almost dead. Well, half of us anyway. I want you to look at this scene, okay? A massive pile of rubble falls on Kyle as you hear his dying screams. 2 seconds later, he goes,
Jaden, are you okay?
"My guy, are you okay?" That sounded bad. Am I speaking to a ghost right now? Is the game a sixth sense from here on? Do I have to go to Luke and say, "Mr. Luke, I see dead people"? This level was one of my favorite levels in the game. It just has so much variety with the enemies. There are so many types introduced in here. Like, look at this. I get to fight a dual-wielding lightsaber dude and have a strange match against him. Then there's also shielded robots, and I think for the first time as far as I remember, robot enemies with lightsabers. Is that allowed? Is that legal? Don't you need a lightsaber permit for that? I'm trying to remember if Knights of the Old Republic had any robots that were wielding lightsabers, but I don't think it did. Every robot so far just had guns. Would be cool if I could see a Wookiee with a lightsaber now. This level also had one of the trippiest moments. And no, it's not seeing Goto from Knights of the Old Republic 2 that was trippy. It was touching Goto from the Knights of the Old Republic 2 that was trippy. Anyway, I fight another lightsaber guy and my character, which I guess is called Jaden, goes, someone didn't like Darth Vader much. And that made me stop for a second. What did you mean by that? Oh, was this a Darth Vader statue? Oh, his music is playing in the background, this is so cool. Now that I think about it, isn't this the place, one of the places from the movies? I think I remember seeing it in the Lego game. Where'd you even come from? So I reach the end of the level and I find Silly Billy held hostage next to 2 Siths. Hold on, they are not holding him hostage? Oh no, he turned to the dark side. What an unpredictable plot twist, I could have never seen that coming. Silly Billy, please come back to the light side, we have better cookies. Wait, is this actually working? I guess I just have to beat the Sith out of him? Silly Billy, what have they done to you? Why are you moving like that? That glitchiness means the Sithness might be reversible. I'm sorry, Silly Billy, but I have to.
Kyle,
I guess not, because someone from the first game makes an appearance. If you haven't played the previous game, don't worry, it's really nothing major. She was just an apprentice to the main villain in that one who Kyle fought and did not kill. Now on a serious note, something very interesting is happening here. Thavian steals Jaden's lightsaber and uses it to cause the building to collapse as they escape. We get to escape too and tell what happened to Luke, but Jaden lost his lightsaber. And after they explain how that scepter might have belonged to Ragnos, Luke just casually says that Jaden will need to build another lightsaber. That's odd. I thought a Jedi was very strongly linked to their Jedi lightsaber. In fact, a big part of the previous game was having to retrieve Kyle's lightsaber. Can Jedis just make a new lightsaber? I mean, of course they can, but I thought they had a connection with their lightsaber. Weird. But anyway, that is the perfect excuse to create a different lightsaber for Jaden. Especially because he got promoted to Jedi Knight. And you know, I just had to go for the two-handed saber. I've been waiting for an opportunity to play with this one for so long. As a Jedi Knight, Luke and Kyle gave me more challenging missions to complete, with the first one being to investigate his tomb. And let me tell you, my skills got a lot sharper. I go down a hole and hear an explosive and see an enemy. I instantly use my force speed to just give myself enough time to jump. I go down a hole and hear an explosive and see an enemy. I instantly use my force speed to give myself enough time to jump over the exploding bridge. True Jedi Knight moves right there. So I get to the tomb and seal it properly, which makes the whole place crumble. Not to worry though, as I am fast enough to escape. Did I literally just jump into the void? And the level is over? Was I meant to do that? Anyway, in true Star Wars fashion, our spaceship gets tractor beamed into an enemy spaceship, so we have to escape, and here's where the game really impressed me. Up until now, I haven't used the force pull so much, simply because how good force speed is. So when I got to some lasers, I thought it's the perfect time to do it, as I can pull the enemies through the lasers and make them explode. That failed because the enemies did not explode for some reason, but one of the stormtroopers remained on the other side but had his weapon stolen. As a consequence, he just raised his hand to give up. Well, Mr. Stormtrooper, let's play a game. Ah, he just moved. You guys saw it, right? He moved. Moving on, nothing major happened here, so we go to the next planet and something massive happened. This mutated Rancor. That's the massive thing that happened. Unlike the previous one, I did not even attempt to shoot at it. Again with the variety, even though some of the levels are too short, they really made sure they are not too similar. Like this one, it's the only level in the game where the only objective is to keep running from the enemy. Of course, at some point I get stuck and I have to make sure you actually don't have to fight, so I proceed to waste all my bullets on him, but hey, at least I made sure. Not too long after, I find a way to squeeze the mutated Rancor and finish the level. And you might think to yourself, wait, I want to see more of that one. Well, what if I told you that the next level you have to fight against Boba Fett? Which got me really confused. For some reason, I honestly thought Boba Fett died in the original trilogy, so now there are two wolves inside of me. One thinks that the game happens after the original trilogy, and the other one thinks this game happens somewhere in between. But surely the second wolf is wrong, this clearly happens after the movies, right guys? And obviously he's not meant to die in this game either, because I spent, let me check, 15 minutes shooting at this guy until I gave up and realized you have to progress through the level and blow up some weapon crates or something before you have a shootout with him. And even though this one ends a lot quicker, he just gets to excuse himself and leave.
No bounties on you. A shame.
That's okay though, as we don't have time to chase him, we have better things to do as we go back to the Academy and Luke tells us he found out the possible reason why Tavion is storing all the Force power. Apparently Force powers can now be used to resurrect people and I'm not sure what to think of this. I need to ask you guys this now. What do you think of this? Did this ever happen before, or is this something that is only mentioned in this game? Because it feels like a concept that was just randomly introduced here. I mean, it's cool. In a way, I hope it's canon, because it would open up the possibility of resurrecting Revan. And that would be insane. Here's the best part about this. His body is in Coriban. And by now I actually know this planet. For those of you unaware, this is a planet filled with Sith energy where there was even a Sith Academy. It happened in Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. This planet is also the burial ground for a lot of Sith Lords. Not only that, but this also triggered a memory for me. In Knights of the Old Republic 1, I believe, you actually get to visit Ragnus' tomb. This is a fantastic throwback to a previous game. At this point, I thought Coriban had to be a canon planet, right? I was so ready to go there. There is nothing that can stop me from going there besides Silly Billy randomly messaging us, asking us to rescue him from this random planet he's being kept hostage in. But come on now, what are the chances exactly that would happen? So anyway, we go to this planet and as I go through it, I have a few questions for people who have played this game, as I feel like I'm going crazy. Is it me or the elevators in this game are bugged? So they are supposed to be platforms where you go on and the moment you step on them, they take you either up or down. But for some reason, that never works for me. I get in the elevator and nothing happens until I jump. I don't know what the logic behind this is, but it happens, okay? I'm not crazy, you are. Never mind. I progress to the level, fight a few more double saber Sith Padawans by abusing the speed power and reach Silly Billy. And Jaden is mad. Silly Billy is asking for help, but we're not having it. And in here I thought the story would split in two different ways. Over the course of the game, you get to level up your Force powers and you have the option to either level up Light or Dark Force powers. Now, I usually went for the Light Force powers because I relied on the Force heal a lot, but at one point I wanted to level up the Dark Force Lightning, so for 3 levels straight, I put all the points in that. At the end of the act though, Luke pointed out that I went a bit overboard with the Dark Thoughts and all that, and I should be careful. So, coming back to this moment, I honestly thought there were 2 endings with one being the dark side and one being the light side, and going back to the game after I finish it, I found out that that is in fact the case. But for now though, my playthrough went the light side. That meant we forgive Silly Billy and have to fight Tavion's apprentice. There is something else that happens though. During the fight, she attacks Silly Billy who just stands there and watches, and as a consequence he loses his arm. And that That is bingo! I mean, oh no, how dare you do that? I need to take care of you. On a side note, the speed power has some visual bugs when the opponent also uses force speed. Look at this. What is even happening? Never mind. We defeat her. Kyle comes and says he'll get Silly Billy to a Bacta tank? Now that's the first time I'm hearing about it. I remember in Knights of the Old Republic, the healing tanks were Kolto tanks. Was I wrong? Or did he just create that as an excuse to not come and help us on Coriban? Wait, I never saw Kyle and Tavian in the same room. Do you guys think maybe... Anyway, we need to hurry. Something bad is about to happen on Coriban. We need to defeat all the Sith before they can get to the tomb and... Why am I fighting this character? He has a purple lightsaber. He's not a bad guy, is he? No time to think. We need to keep pressing forward. This level felt really intense as you see both sides battling each other. And sometimes me. It does make you feel like you are out of time and you need to hurry to stop Tavian. So why would the developers decide to put what I think is the most puzzles this game had so far? I mean, it wasn't too big of a deal, but that is just because somehow I pressed random buttons and opened the door. Look at this. I go to this room where you have 9 buttons to press, if I counted correctly. If I didn't, well, then you have more buttons to press. And so I think to myself, I cannot be bothered to look for the clues around the level. I'll just press some random buttons. And well, somehow after a few attempts it worked by pressing the most random ones. What even are the chances of this happening? Anyway, I continue through this tomb, get lost for 15 minutes and find the exit. And as I do, I see the tomb I have to reach in front of me. And the scale of these tombs are massive. Knights of the Old Republic had better lore about them, that's for sure, but they did not feel as grand as they do in here. And having Sith and Jedi's fight around helped a lot too. I proceed to fight through hordes of enemies, jump over the last 2 people that were there to stop anyone from going in, and reach the tomb of... Loki? Is that you? You know what's funny though? In true Jedi Knight fashion, the final boss was probably one of the easiest fights I had in this game. There were no multiple attempts. I go in, she does her villain speech and ends her turn, I draw, activate force speed and end her turn. She jumps out to prepare for a second phase villain speech, but gets interrupted as Marco Ragnos gets resurrected as a ghost. He then proceeds to have his own villain speech only to possess Tavian. I have manners, so I let him finish, only to force speed again and finish the fight in 10 seconds. As a final warning, Ragnos tells us he will return to annihilate us all. Clearly he doesn't know that Jaden is a genius because on his way out he throws his lightsaber to destroy the entrance to the point absolutely no one could attempt to enter it anymore. Masterful work, Jaden. Also on our way out, Kyle and Luke made it up the stairs only to be told by Jaden that it's over and that Ragnos will not be resurrected anymore because the scepter is destroyed. And whilst Kyle asks him about Tavian, Luke says absolutely nothing, and I think I know why. In his mind he was like, for Yoda's sake, I just climbed here, now you're telling me it was all pointless? And with that, the galaxy is saved again.
So let's destroy it.
Because remember when I was talking about 2 possible endings? Well, it's time to have Jaden join the dark side. And the weird thing is, now that I went back to it, I realized the choices of what force powers you level up don't really matter. Even though Luke kind of hints that they do, the only difference between light and dark side in here is if you choose to spare Silly Billy or not. So let's get back to that level and turn Silly Billy into Killy Billy.
No, you were weak.
Jaden, no!
Tavian's underling liked that. Too bad for her that Jaden decided that dark side is too powerful to have someone rule over you, so he doesn't need anyone else. And that means that after we are done with her underling, we go straight to Coriban to get rid of Tavian and steal her scepter. And you know what that means? We have to go through the puzzle door again. And now I'm realizing how unlikely it was for me to finish that puzzle so quickly. I couldn't remember what I pressed, so I started pressing random buttons and, well, this time it did not go as well. I eventually get it, but it must have taken me like 5 minutes of randomly pressing buttons. Before I finish Tavian off, there's another thing I realized on this run. You don't actually have to fight 80% of the enemies in the game. I tried it on this tomb level and it actually worked. I just ran past everyone in here. So in theory, besides the bosses you are forced to defeat, you can do a pacifist run of this game. Funny that I do this on the dark side ending. Speaking of which, it's time to take down Tavian, which, again, did not possess any threat whatsoever. 1 force speed use and she's done. But this time we are not fighting Marco Ragnos. Jaden makes sure of that. Instead, Kyle arrives and we have to fight him. And this fight was hard. Like, really hard. I'm joking, of course. Force speed takes Kyle down instantly. It is played as if Jaden barely escaped by using the scepter, but come on, there is no doubt I would win that. As a proof, after Luke is back and does a therapy session with Kyle, we see Jaden take control of one of the massive spaceships, which I'm sure have a name, but I don't know them yet. He is ready to conquer the galaxy. I think this is one of the easiest to understand stories that I've experienced so far. There were quite a few references here and there, but I don't feel like I had to know anything about the Star Wars universe to understand it. There is a Jedi Academy, there are not a lot of Sith left in the galaxy, but a few. One of these few tried to use a scepter to resurrect an old Sith from the Old Republic and get stopped by us. I think the main focus on this game was more on the action side, which did feel fantastic. I like me some action. With that being said, that is all for this video. It was great seeing Kyle again. I really like his character. I don't believe there is any Jedi Knight after this game, so I'm not sure if I'll be seeing him again, but I'm quite curious to find out. As I said earlier, let me know what you guys want to see me play next. For now though, I would like you to use the scepter to force push that subscribe button. Let's see if we can get to that 1.1% of the people that watch this be subscribed. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.